Have you ever wondered what it takes to become the richest person in modern history? Not just wealthy, but so rich that your name becomes a synonym for wealth itself. Today, we're diving deep into the life of a man who did just that, John D. Rockefeller. And our guide is Ron Chernow's masterful biography, Titan. This isn't just a story about money. It's a story about ambition, power, controversy, and the very creation of modern capitalism. Rockefeller's story begins with a truly bizarre childhood. His father, William Big Bill Rockefeller, was a traveling con man who sold fake cancer cures and lived a double life with two families. He'd disappear for months, then reappear, flashing wads of cash. He once said he cheated his sons just to make EM sharp. Imagine growing up with that as your role model for business. Meanwhile, his mother was a devout Baptist who instilled in young John a deep sense of piety, discipline, and frugality. This strange mix of a swindling father and a devout mother created a fascinating paradox that defined Rockefeller his entire life, a ruthless businessman on one hand, and a pious, charitable man on the other. From a young age, John was obsessed with numbers. He even created his own personal ledger, tracking every single penny he earned and spent. He got his first real job at 16 as an assistant bookkeeper, and he was so dedicated that he later celebrated the anniversary of that day, which he called Job Day, for the rest of his life. This meticulous attention to detail would become his superpower. In 1859, something happened that changed the world forever. Oil was discovered in Pennsylvania. At first, it was a chaotic free-for-all, a wild west of drilling and speculation. Thousands rushed in, hoping to strike it rich. But Rockefeller, with his bookkeeper's mindset, saw something different. He saw waste. He saw inefficiency. He saw an opportunity, not in drilling for oil, but in refining it. While others gambled on finding black gold underground, Rockefeller decided to control the crucial step that turned crude oil into a usable product, kerosene for lamps. This is where the legend of Standard Oil begins. Rockefeller and his partners started their first refinery in Cleveland, a strategic location with access to railroads and waterways. But Rockefeller wasn't content with just one successful refinery. His vision was much, much bigger. He wanted to dominate the entire industry. He believed competition was wasteful and that consolidation was the key to efficiency and lower prices for everyone. His method was simple, yet ruthless. He would approach his competitors with an offer: sell your refinery to me for a fair price, and you'll get shares in my growing company, Standard Oil. If you accept, you'll become rich as the company grows. If you refuse, well, he would use his immense power to drive you out of business. Standard Oil was so large that it could negotiate secret, cheaper shipping rates with the railroads were beats that his smaller competitors couldn't get. He could slash prices in one region to bankrupt a rival while keeping them high elsewhere. One by one, his competitors either joined him or were crushed. By the 1880s, Standard Oil controlled about 90% of the oil refining in the United States. It was the world's first and greatest monopoly, a corporate entity more powerful than many governments. This made Rockefeller a titan of industry, but also a public villain. Journalists and politicians painted him as a greedy monopolist, a boa constrictor strangling the life out of free enterprise. The public backlash was immense, leading to the creation of antitrust laws, like the Sherman Antitrust Act, designed specifically to break up monopolies like Standard Oil. The public image of Rockefeller as a cold, heartless monster was powerful, but Chernow's book shows us a more complicated man. Away from the office, Rockefeller was a devoted family man, a teetotaler, and a faithful church. He found joy in simple pleasures like gardening and playing with his grandchildren. This is the great contradiction of his life. How could the man who crushed his rivals so mercilessly also be the same man who taught Sunday school every week? Rockefeller's answer was that he believed he was an instrument of God. He felt his ability to accumulate wealth was a divine gift, and with that gift came a profound responsibility to give it back. This brings us to the second, equally transformative phase of his life: philanthropy. Even as a young man earning pennies, Rockefeller tithed, giving 10% of his income to his church. As his fortune exploded, so did his giving. But just like in his business, he wasn't content with just writing checks. He wanted his philanthropy to be efficient, strategic, and world-changing. He didn't want to just give a man a fish. He wanted to create a system that would teach millions to fish. He applied the same principles he used to build Standard Oil to his charitable work. He hired experts, demanded data, and focused on root causes, not just symptoms. This revolutionary approach, which he calls scientific philanthropy, created the modern foundation as we know it. He established the University of Chicago, turning a small Baptist college into a world-class research institution. He founded the Rockefeller Institute for Medical Research, which led to cures for diseases like meningitis and yellow fever. His General Education Board helped transform public education and health in the American South. By the time he died in 1937 at the age of 97, John D. Rockefeller had given away more than $500 million, billions in today's money. He had funded medical breakthroughs that saved countless lives and created educational institutions that are still thriving today. So, who was the real John D. Rockefeller? Was he the ruthless monopolist who stifled competition, or the visionary philanthropist who reshaped medicine and education? The genius of Chernow's Titan is that it doesn't give you an easy answer. It shows you that he was both. He was a product of his time, a man of deep contradictions whose legacy is as complex and enduring as the industries he built and the institutions he funded. His story forces us to ask big questions about capitalism, ethics, and the role of great wealth in society. He created the blueprint for the modern multinational corporation while also creating the blueprint for modern large-scale philanthropy. Love him or hate him, there's no denying his impact. His shadow looms large over our world, even today. If you're fascinated by the giants who shaped our modern world, Titan is an absolute it's a gripping tale of ambition, faith, and the controversial legacy of America's first billionaire. Thanks for watching. And hit that bell icon for more stories about the people who've changed history. See you next time.